Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Your name's Lenny.
Yes,
I'm Leo.
hi, Leo.
Where do you live?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. And what kind of company do you run?
Myself, I don't run a company. I have a colleague that's down in Central Florida. He runs a pool business. Uh, Maintenance, mostly maintenance and repairs.
Okay.
He has asked me to come on board and help him to expand the business, grow the business. Now, obviously, I'm not down there. I'm here in New York, in Brooklyn. Um, so I'm wondering how can I engage in helping the business grow, not being physically over there.
Okay. Simple.
Well, simple, but not, I mean, I get it. Marketing and advertising and accumulating business, but he is a little bit reluctant to try anything new other than what has worked for him in the past, which is accumulating accounts, through word of mouth, basically. No marketing, no advertising.
Okay.
No,
How old
no
is the company?
5 years.
5 years. How many employees?
None.
None. Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay. So how does he consider this a success, though?
He's got a couple of different guys. They're handling about 80 accounts each. He's got two guys that handle about 80 accounts each. He himself is probably servicing around 60 to 70 accounts. But
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How can you service that many accounts if you have no employees? So is he using subcontractors then?
well, I guess you could say the two guys that he has handling accounts, you could say they're subcontractors. But his own personal accounts, that 60 or 70 accounts, he's maintaining them himself,
Okay. So he's turned his business into a job.
basically.
Okay.
And I'm trying to explain to him that you need to get yourself out of that and be a boss and put people in place to take care of the shit for you. But he's just too hands on. And the
Right.
reason why I'm even remotely interested in this, I mean, I've been following you on TikTok for a while. You talk about landscaping and painting, two good businesses to get into with not a lot of startup cost. Well, since he has already a footprint in people's homes, those businesses are complementary to what he's doing already. So integrating them, maybe not immediately, but down the road, seems logical.
Okay. Yep.
But first and foremost, got to get this business to grow.
Right. Okay. Do you know what kind of revenue he's doing? Is he making money, first of all?
Yeah, he's doing about 50 a month.
50,000 a month?
Yeah, net.
Net. Okay. Okay. So he is making money.
Yes.
So is he concerned that if he starts delegating that everything might implode? Is that his concern?
His concern, honestly, I don't know what his concern is ultimately, but I guess he's just the kind of guy who likes to be hands on because he knows that whatever effort and whatever he does is going to be like no one else can do it like him.
Right. We can train astronauts, we can train brain surgeons, we can train pilots, but we can't train someone to clean a pool.
Right.
Okay. Um, okay. If I were in your shoes, the first thing I would have done was get him to join this call. Because he needs to see what his opportunities are. Because if he wants to have a job for the rest of his life, then he's doing well. Right. We design businesses that work for me. Like as an example, I own shares in 19 different companies. I don't work for the companies work for me. Right. But you got to
Yeah,
do that by putting the right team in place, by having the right branding and differentiation to create an unfair advantage to gain market share. Right. Otherwise, you're going to blow your brains out on marketing.
that's kind of what I told him. I said, like, pool maintenance. I mean, ultimately, whoever's getting their pool maintenance doesn't really give a shit who's doing it. They just know that it's something they need to get done, and as long as it's done, they'll just continue paying, and everything is hunky dory. The only time people look for someone else is because you're probably just not doing a good job, or you're not showing up,
Yeah.
or I don't know if it's price driven. I've been talking to him about advertising a $99 maintenance special as like a recession, a recession help advertising.
Yeah.
You know,
People with pools generally are not struggling with money. It tends to be the upper middle class that has pools.
well, in Central Florida, I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Okay.
Even the lower income tier have some kind of pool.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
if they're really price conscious, they're going to do it themselves, right?
right? But if you come into a price point where, I mean, handling that shit, it's annoying.
Yeah.
You kind of got to do
Well,
know what you.
it's in the same category as cutting your grass,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's got to be done unless
right.
you redesign so you have a maintenance-free front yard and backyard. Um,
It's work. It's tedious work.
yeah,
Some people are willing to do it. Majority of people, if you could get that headache off their hands and give for a fair price, that they'll find something else to do with their time other than cut their grass or
yeah.
clean their pool.
Yeah, but the question is, if you reduce the price and it's so close that the homeowner says, well, I don't know if I should do it myself or hire someone to do it. If the price is that close, then you're not making any money, right? You want to attract the people who live in the 3 million, 5 million, $10 million homes or the affluent part of the city who say, I've got, I bill $500 an hour, $1,500 an hour. It doesn't pay me to do that. Those are the people you want to attract.
Mm, I understand what you're saying, but
I'll give you another example. I have a client in Florida that charges $150,000 to renovate a bathroom. $150,000. That's his average. Okay. There's a lot of money in Florida.
yeah, there is. I know. But you're talking about going for the bigger tickets rather than the average ticket, which there are some stumbling blocks, some roadblocks on that. You see, he's a black man. You
Okay.
know, this
I don't think that's really relevant because
I
the branding, see, it shouldn't be the owner in front of the client. It should be salespeople in front of the client. It
I
should be the
agree.
project managers in front of the client,
I totally agree. I
right?
totally agree.
It doesn't matter if he's black, female, or a dog.
You're right.
Right? He
You're
should
right,
be
but
behind the scenes.
right. But see, my whole thing was I was thinking this is it's a volume business. So you got to have the volume in order to make the bread that you're looking to make.
Right. Okay, so stay there for a second. How do you get volume? Right? You create volume with branding and differentiation to create an unfair advantage over the competition. He has competition. So how do you rise above the competition and charge 50% or 100% more than your competition and get a shit ton of work?
You
Branding and
mean,
differentiation to create an unfair advantage.
right? You're saying charge 50% less than your competition,
No, 50% more than your competition.
more than your competition.
Yeah, yeah. Are you familiar with Martha Stewart's story?
Vaguely.
Okay. How she started was her and her friend were, they considered themselves great bakers, and they bake great pies. And they thought, okay, let's make some money. Let's bake some pies. We'll go to the flea market and we'll sell some pies. We'll make some money, right? So they got a whole table and put, a whole bunch of pies. And I think they started $1 or $2 per pie. It was ridiculously cheap. So hundreds of people are walking by. The people look at them, nobody buys. Then they thought, okay, maybe it's the price. Maybe the price is too cheap, right? Then they raised it to $3 or $5. Still nobody buys. They raised it to $10 and they sold out. So sometimes the dollar amount represents the value that they're getting. So if something sounds too cheap, nobody wants it.
I get that. I get that.
So, and the other thing is most let's call it grass cutting companies just do the bare minimum. Most pool cleaners they do the bare minimum, right? Which means they got the bare minimum in terms of pay. When you start, creating a real service to really solve clients' problems, now you can demand a premium. The client will pay you a premium. I'm not saying that I know what that premium is or what that service is, right? Um, it may be, offering the pool service and the grass cutting under one contract. Now you're solving both problems, right? So you have
Yeah,
two different crews coming in to do two different jobs. Maybe,
uh,
on a quarterly basis, you're cleaning the gutters because which homeowners like going up to clean gutters,
right.
right? So maybe the solution is to offer a more encompassing problem that solves all their exterior problems.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that. Coupling the businesses together, freaking service that's more than just maintenance of the pool. Yes. Yes.
And grass cutting needs to be done every week. Pool cleaning could be done every week. So you just elevate both services because if the guy is there already, right? You have one pool cleaner, one grass cutter in the same truck, right? Not every client that wants the grass cut is going to have a pool. But if you specialize in that service, then you're going to get a lot of clients who have pools who also have grass. So, I mean, I've never tried this before, so I'm just spitballing here. But there's got
Right.
to be a solution here, and this could be part of your differentiation, right? You can
Right.
get all the clients that have pools and get their grass business as well.
Right. I believe that the first thing I need to somehow instill into him, because I've had these discussions with him in the past about relinquishing some of his responsibilities and control and starting to put people into place so he can take care of other things like marketing, getting new clients.
Yeah.
And his answer to me is, well, when we accumulate enough clients, I'll relinquish that control. But when is that time going to come? Like, what?
Yeah, he's got it backwards.
Yeah.
Before you start the business, okay? Before you start the business, you start organic marketing 1 to 10 years before launching the business. Once you, let's say 3 months before launching, you start training the salespeople to start going out there to sign these contracts, right? 3 months or 2 months before, right? 2 weeks before, you start training the crews, right? On the day of launching, you already have 50 contracts or 100 contracts, right? You start with 10 teams or 10 crews with a project manager, with a general manager in place. So you do all the planning, you do all the organization, the systems and the software and the marketing and everything before you launch the business.
Right.
Okay. And had he done that, he would probably be making 10 times what he's making now. So he's cheating himself and he's cheating his family as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, well, Leo, I think you're right. I think he should have been on this call. I would like to do this. I would like to, well, I guess ultimately my question is, if we did get him on the call, how would you be able to help us?
Well, by looking at his organization, I mean, he's been in business for 5 years. I would also want to talk to his wife and kids, right? How much time is he spending at home? Like I said, I have shares in 19 different companies. You know, I can run my companies from anywhere, the sailboat, the cottage, you know, anywhere. I was on you know, I look at reports when I'm playing pickleball or reading my books or whatever it is, right?
Right,
He needs to understand that control is not him being on the job site and him working with his hands. That's the opposite of control.
I agree. I agree.
I'll give you a quick example. I have a client who runs a painting business and he travels to 38 countries a year on average, surfing and playing beach volleyball. He travels to 38 countries. He does a tour, right? He has friends that travel with him. And meanwhile, he runs or he manages a $5 million painting business, right? Because he has control in the reporting. He makes people accountable in the reporting, right? It's not being on the job site, right?
Yeah, listen, I completely understand what you're saying. And I agree. When I ran my business, I ran my business exactly the same way.
What kind of business did you run?
I had a mortgage broker,
Okay, all right.
brokerage. So I mean, I get it. I get about putting people into place, so I don't have to deal with that shit. I got just somehow got to convey to him, make it make sense. And I don't see how it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. See, you've tried it your way already. Let me try,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Give him a phone call and say, hey, there's a guy I want you to talk to. Are you available Tuesday at 3 o'clock? Right. Don't give me any detail. Can you be there? Or he's going to be at work at that time. So say 10 p.m. What time can you have undivided attention for 15 minutes? Right. And
you're
have
in,
him tell you, are you available at 7 p.m. or is 10 p.m. better for you? Give him an option.
you're in Calgary,
I'm in Toronto.
Toronto. So you're on EST.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Sorry about the Maple Leafs. Uh,
No, you should say sorry about Trudeau.
well, that's a separate story in itself.
It is. It is. And I
But
apologize for Biden.
don't even go there. That's a complete shit show.
Yep.
But when are the Leafs going to get this shit together?
Well, that's a good question. That's a
Well,
good question.
you guys just hired Berube for the coaching job, so hopefully one day. But okay, all right, let me do that. So should I?
If that fails, if plan A fails, what I'm gonna do is I'm recording this. I will send you this recording, then say, okay, if you can't do that, if you're not comfortable doing that, then can you watch a video with me? Right?
I'd rather get him on the phone call because
Ideally, yeah, ideally. Yeah,
yeah,
but if
yeah.
that fails, then share this video with him and I'll send you the link.
Okay, cool. Okay, listen, I'm actually going to be speaking to him later on today. I'll find out his concrete availability for Tuesday, Wednesday, whichever one.
Yeah, and you have my
And
calendar link.
yeah, and I have your calendar link, so I'll schedule with you
Okay.
again. And we'll talk in a couple of days.
Okay, sounds good. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Leo. You too.
Thanks, Lenny. Take care. Bye.